What was it like to be a soldier in Vietnam? In the next hour, you will see part of the answer. The year was 1970. The correspondent, John Lawrence.
An American rifle company in Vietnam and Cambodia. The period, March through June this year. The mission, kill the enemy. But even here, the troops reflect the unrest over the war troubling the country they left, back in the world.
What's your feelings about killing? Don't have any. Doesn't mean nothing. Guess you could say it was a job to do it, no? Either you get killed or you kill him. Better off him than me. Any day. You really don't have no feelings about it, you know. If you see a dead gook, it don't mean anything, you know. One time you really feel anything is when you see a GI messed up. Then it sort of hurts you, you know. But gooks, it don't bother you none.
Oh, wow, there's no doubt about it. It's wrong, you know. I mean, the Bible says, you know, thou shalt not kill. It doesn't say thou shalt not kill, parentheses, unless there's war or you hate somebody. It says thou shalt not kill, period, you know. I think that goes for everything. You know, putting on a uniform doesn't give you a license to kill somebody, you know. I don't know.
Way to do it, slow and easy. Roger that. The only way you can do it. You don't want to go too fast. Because I would walk right into it. Just take it easy, you know, just probe along. Stay off the trail. Right. Don't want to walk down no trail. You won't be coming back.
Was there a rebellion today?
You might call it that. Back in the world, they call it rebellion. Here, it's just a downright refusal. We had the whole company. CO says, okay, we're going to walk the road. And the whole company says, no, negative. We've heard too many companies, too many battalions want to walk the road. And that's why they aren't what they are now. They've been blown away.
Correspondent John Lawrence spent a great deal of time in Vietnam. He covered the war there from 1965 through 1968. And in 1970, he returned to prepare a series of reports on one company of American soldiers. By 1970, remember, many Americans had turned against the war. Some of that disillusion was reflected among the troops in Vietnam. In the early days of the war, most American soldiers believed in the cause for which they were fighting. But in 1970, even on the battlefield, you could find both hawks and doves. That was a problem for field commanders who had to lead and motivate their troops. This is the story of how one unit adjusted to those pressures and to the additional pressures of a change in command. John Lawrence reports The World of Charlie Company.
Spring, 1970. After 5 years of killing, the gears of the Vietnam death machine were grinding more slowly in the months before the invasion of Cambodia. After 5 years of war, the lives of the line infantrymen, the grunts, were practically the same. Young men with guns, tramping around the tropical jungle, living like the other animals, occasionally engaging in the death game the first grunts were sent here for in 1965. But there did appear to be a change in their attitudes in 1970, a sense of independence. Sometimes there was open rebelliousness. It was an internal conflict within the American Army among the soldiers themselves. Some called it the war between the lifers and the grunts, usually verbal, but sometimes violent, involving the older men making careers of military work and the young draftees committed to a year of military service in Vietnam. The grunts were determined to survive. Since they were forced to endure the most extreme physical hardships, they insisted on having something to say in the making of decisions that determined whether they might live or die. It happened, among other units, in Charlie Company.
Combat assault. 100 American infantrymen, their officers, medics, and Vietnamese scouts are dropped into a deserted clearing in the jungles of War Zone C along the border between South Vietnam and Cambodia, northwest of Saigon. The military mission is to make contact with North Vietnamese Army units, blast them with artillery and airstrikes to block enemy actions deeper inside Vietnam. The unit is Company C, 2nd Battalion of the 7th Cavalry, 1st Air Cavalry Division. The young men in Charlie Company, like those in every other line infantry unit, see their lives in Vietnam as an unpleasant interruption of what they were doing at home in the States. They have a special expression for their homeland. That, they say, is back in the world. For most of them, for those who are not shot up or blown away by bullets and mortars and rockets, Vietnam is 12 months of physical torture, endless hours of forced marching, sweating under the tropical Asian sun, grunting and groaning in the harness of a 90-pound pack, soaking in the rains of the monsoon, fighting off insects and crawling lizards, swallowing tasteless food crammed into cans, nursing the infected skin sores called jungle rot, collapsing every day with blistered feet and cramped muscles, and enduring the very private agony of memories of back in the world, and each man's separation from his friends and folks. This, for 1 year, is their world.
You seen somebody walking?
You saw somebody walking, you say?
Yeah.
Okay, just keep your eyes open. Did you know which way he was going?
I'm on parallel trail.
Say again?
Parallel to trail.
Parallel to the trail?
Around that TT movement.
Okay, just play it cool.
The constant danger of contact and killing adds to the strain of surviving. The final physical task after each day's patrol is clearing a camp for the night.
Get pretty much used to it after a while. Doesn't bother me too much. How about you?
I understand.
Hard work?
This isn't too hard right here. It's been a lot harder when we're in bamboo sometimes.
Pushing against the bush is another hazard in the 100-degree heat, particularly for point men, those who lead the way for Charlie Company. PFC Steve Puget passed out from the heat and exhaustion after pushing too long one day.
Just can't walk through that kind of stuff all day. Just can't do it.
What does it do to you?
Well, try to name something it doesn't do to you. My partner Marsh walked it after I littered out there. Just can't hack that stuff all day.
Puge, the point man, is sent back for medical treatment, the pain of his earlier convulsion and delirium still showing. At 18, Puge's condition will improve enough in a few days for him to return to the field. Medical evacuations are rare in Charlie Company, so few are their casualties.
Papa Son, what do you know?
It is a rare but welcome day when hot food is brought out to the men. The company usually gets its basic resupply only twice a week on what is called log day. Log days are less exhausting than the regular routine of humping through the bush. A birthday passes for PFC Carlton Dudley, his 20th, Just another day in the Nam, he says. Vietnam. He comes from Newberry, Florida, and his 6 months in the field have soured his love for the outdoors. Dudley, a member of 2nd Squad, 2nd Platoon, has developed a deep dislike for Army life.
What's life like over here? It's like pure hell. I mean, like a lot of the guys, they hunted back in the world before they ever come over here. They come over here and they stay out. And say we stay out 18, anywhere from 18 to a month. The bugs biting on us, crawling all over us. We have to sleep on the ground part of the time, sometimes on air mattresses, when we can get them. And, you know, you're humping all day long. And a lot of guys, they change opinion about, you know, being out in the woods. A lot of guys say that you go back to the world, they won't ever go back into the woods for anything, hunting or any other reason.
The leader of 2nd Squad, and among the most respected soldiers in Charlie Company, is Sergeant Lyman Dunnick. Some of the others call him Gene. He is also known as Killer. Dunnick was drafted in Alexandria, Virginia, later than most men. He is 26 years old now, rising rapidly in rank to non-commissioned officer. Dunnick's determination to fight the war while trying to keep himself and the men in his squad alive is based on his belief that stopping the communists in Vietnam will protect his baby daughter and younger brother back in the world.
You take your job very seriously. Is that how you got the nickname?
Well, you have to take it serious when you got your life and somebody else to worry about, you know. If you got an attitude where you just don't care, you might not go back, you know. So you have to do your job. I got 5 people I got to worry about beside myself. So I make sure all them get back. Get myself back, I'll be satisfied.
How'd you get the nickname?
Killer? Killed a couple of gooks on a bomb cracker one time. Claymores. Blew a couple of claymores open. Put a few 60 rounds into them. They was taking a bath. So, you know, just proves you don't take no baths while you're in the field.
Harris. Fruit. Taylor.
The closest link between Charlie Company and people back in the world is mail. Letters are the most important source of information about what's happening at home. PFC George Rivera's wife is writing worried letters, concerned that he makes it home safely to New York City. Rivera is the oldest man in 2nd Squad, 29, and has the least time left to serve in Vietnam. He was seriously wounded once, and now that he's getting short, Rivera is nervous about surviving the final weeks.
When you get short like that, you kind of start to worry about you worry when you're walking down the bush. You worry about getting hit. For me, I worry about getting hit again. I don't intend for that to happen again. But you can never tell. You feel that there's somebody after you specifically, just you, because you're short. They don't want nobody else, they just want you. Spooky. It's really something.
4 letters from home in Trenton, Michigan arrived for PFC Bob Teschker. He had been planning to go to junior college in Dearborn when he was drafted. It took him away 2 months ago from the girl he is engaged to marry. Teschker is holding her letter.
What's the news? Oh, well, she's got a brother who's in the service, too, but he's back in the States and just writing about him coming home and things she's been doing. She got a raise at work, so she's kind of happy about that. And clothes she's buying for the summer coming up. Maine, I guess she wishes I was there with her.
What do you wish?
Well, I wish the same thing, but I'm getting along. I'm used to the ideas. Mainly, I just
keep writing, hoping that she keeps writing me.
Spec 4 John Schultz spends his 21st birthday in War Zone C. He's been with Charlie Company for 9 months now and is thinking about getting back to Linwood, California.
When I go back to the world, I don't even think about this place again. I mean, I'll probably watch the news and see how the fight's going and everything, but I don't want to be reminded about when I was out there.
The most educated man in Second Squad, with some college credits at San Diego State, is Spec 4 Gordy Lee. Just before leaving for Vietnam last September, Gordy got married. He has studied the remarkable record of Charlie Company in action and concluded that the commander is most responsible for the men's safety.
Maybe we call it luck or just fate, but out of the whole battalion, since we got Captain Jackson out, we have been a company that has made the least amount of contact. And if we do make contact, we're coming out the best. Since Captain Jackson took over, we've only lost 2 guys, actual KIAs, whereas the rest of the company's battalion have been losing quite a few more. And it seems like with Captain Jackson, we've just kind of lived an almost charmed life. And boy, I'm not for knocking that.
Captain Robert Jackson, age 29, hometown Sheffield, Alabama, where his wife and 2 children wait. Military service 6.5 years, a paratrooper and ranger. Platoon leader with the 82nd Airborne in combat in the Dominican Republic. His second full tour in Vietnam. A regular Army career officer. But no one in Charlie Company calls Captain Jackson a lifer. He is too well liked and respected. The men appreciate his philosophy of combat, making contact on his terms, not the enemy's, and avoiding unnecessary casualties.
30 degree, they, I don't know, the people in the company, I'm sure realize that we take a lot less casualties than other people, and they see reasons. Like, we don't use trails. We try to do things with logic. And if you want to find goods, there's no problem finding the enemy. You can just walk right down a trail, and you'll eventually find him, but it'll be on his terms. So it's just the way we operate that I think is the reason we take fewer casualties than a lot of people. And people in the company, I think they realize it, and they have an appreciation for it.
Now, Captain Jackson is preparing to give the leadership of the company and responsibility for the men's lives to a new commander. Captain Al Rice, like Jackson, has a distinguished record in combat, in his case, in the dangers of long-range reconnaissance patrols. Rice, however, is 5 years younger, less experienced in Vietnam, but anxious to distinguish himself as he did in high school and college football in Tennessee. Captain Rice was raised in Kingsport in strict military tradition. His father was a Marine Corps drill instructor.
Probably, the way we're working right now, we have 2 work days and a log day. A log day is just a wasted day. It takes most of the day, and you've got to move after your log, because this is definitely border country here. They can put a set of tube up anywhere. We're going to Cloverleaf to see if we find anything.
Rice has 3 days to study Captain Jackson. He concludes that Jackson is too cautious. Test firing the weapons to make certain they are all working properly is one of the details that concerns Captain Jackson. His mild, friendly manner masks the deep emotions he feels for his men. He worries about them constantly. Now, he prepares to leave the company to take a staff desk job at division level.
Take care of yourself here. They like the cab.
Saying goodbye, Captain Jackson is unable to show his strong, sentimental feelings. Privately, he says, "I'm going to miss these people." The men are more outspoken about the company commander who has kept them alive for 5.5 months. John Schultz and Gordy Lee are apprehensive.
It's like our father to our big family. I don't know, it's just, you get used to the ways of one man, and then you have to change all over again. I don't know, it's sort of like moving from one house to the other. and having a different father. This doesn't work right for a long time.
There will be what you would call a trial period. With a lot of us guys, we've been out in the field with Captain Jackson's full tour out here in the field this second time around for him. And he said, like Bob said, that we've grown accustomed to his ways and we like his ways. Mainly that we agree with him all the way. I mean, he takes us someplace, it could be contact all over, but we're behind Captain Jackson. We're not even worried. And it's gonna take a little getting used to a new CO.
I hate to go too. Take care of these new guys. Show them
The first few days after the change in commanders are much the same for Charlie Company. The mission and the misery have not changed. But although the men do not know it yet, the world of Charlie Company is about to be shaken, and life will not be the same for months to come. It is April 6th, the end of the first week in the command of Captain Rice. Today, however, his authority is about to be tested, traumatically. Rice receives orders to move his men to a road in the jungle for pickup by helicopters. But the road is not wide enough for the choppers to land, so Rice is instructed to move the entire company about 0.8 of a mile to the northeast, straight down the road. The men were taught by Captain Jackson, their former commander, never to move down a trail, much less a road. Sergeant Dunnick does not like the looks of the road. It is 6 feet wide, enclosed by thick bush on both sides. Dunnick refuses to walk the road.
I'm not going to walk down it. Tucker doing it. What's Tucker going to do? He's going to walk down the trail. My whole squad ain't walking down it. No, that's it.
The leader of 2nd Platoon looks on helplessly as 2nd Squad turns back, away from the road. He listens sympathetically. But since 2nd Squad was on point, leading the company, the entire column is held up. Captain Rice insists on obedience.
We're going to move out on the road, period. Now, either we're going to move out and they're going to get left behind, or I'm going to take the point and they can follow me if they want to. Now, it's that simple. Now, we got a job to do, we're going to do it. It's not half as dangerous as doing some of the crap we've done out here in the boonies, walking through them. At least we can see what we're doing. Now, they either move out, or else I move out, and they sit on their butt right here. It's that simple. All right? Okay, let's move out. We'll tell them to make up their mind. They'll either sit here, and then I'll send some people back for them, which won't go over too big at all. We can't have this. This is extremely safe. It's safer than anything we've done.
The young lieutenant tries to persuade Rice to change his orders, but the company commander is firm. Rice starts down the road himself, but only 5 or 6 men follow. The captain moves about 15 yards when new orders come down from the battalion commander.
Okay, we're not going to be going down the Romeo. We're going to move back down to the Whiskey on the Romeo and make a 3-shipper in a hurry.
He is told to go in the opposite direction, only 300 yards.
Get it over with, we'll move out, and we'll be okay. That's right. The longer we sit here, the worse it gets.
This time, 2nd Squad moves, reluctantly.
Rivera, what do you think of this operation?
I think it's crazy. It's senseless, walking down the road. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
What's the problem?
Oh, we just don't want to work on the road. This is one of the things that I told you about when we were wondering what a new CO was going to be like. And these are the kind of things that you don't want to have him be like.
It's great to have went to the country and walked down a trail yet, and they want me to walk down a road.
First time we'll ever be walking down the road. Trail.
Like a duck in a shooting gallery.
Cooks always stay on a big trail like this. They always watch it. There's tracks all up and down it this morning. You got to stay spread out this morning. It's bad.
Second Squad reaches a point where bomb craters have cleared the trees along the road and cuts a landing zone for the helicopters. There is no ambush. The men are aware that the mission is urgent, but they are not told why. What they don't know, what no one in Charlie Company knows, is that a massive B-52 bomber strike is scheduled to go in nearby in less than an hour, and the soldiers are dangerously close to the target area. The bombers are in the air, approaching the target. No one on the ground knows it. Captain Rice calls his platoon leaders together to criticize them for not supporting his orders.
I can't run around and kick everybody in the butt. I can't run around and fill everybody's ego up. You're going to have to back me up if I say something. And believe me, if it's bad, I'll know it's bad. And you just have to make it out what you can, make out the best you can. Any questions? Okay, let's get this LZ bill and get out of here. I'm glad we didn't have to walk, though.
The landing zone is cleared, and one by one, the choppers carry the company out. But because of the rebellion and other unexpected delays, it is too late. The B-52 strike will hit in minutes. Higher headquarters cancels the mission at the last minute because some of the men are still on the ground. Shortly after the incident, at another landing zone, Gordy Lee, John Schultz, Carlton Dudley, and others in Second Squad discuss the events.
Today I found out what happened when the whole company refused to do something.
What happened?
Puts everything in a big fat bind. And I'll tell you, somebody's heads are going to roll when this whole thing's over with. I don't know whose. Maybe mine. But heads are going to roll, and it's about time. You can't do what we did this morning and get away with it. We happen to be lucky. But I am not going to try out again. I don't feel that lucky.
We don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't really make any difference. We're just going to refuse to do it. Because it's, you may be in jail, but you won't be dead.
If he told me to do it again, I'd walk in front, I'd just flat refuse. They'd bust me, of course. That don't mean nothing either. All it is money. I'm just in the Army to spend my time and get out. I ain't got no use for an Army.
I've got a wife I'm going to go home and see. And he keeps pulling stuff like that. He's downright, in my opinion, telling me that you ain't going home, because that's not what it amounts to.
Almost 2 months later, Captain Rice reflects on the events of that day on the road.
Truthfully, the way I look at it, what happened on the road that day was something that every company commander, every leader has sometime during his career, maybe not even in Vietnam, maybe back in the States if he never makes it to Vietnam. It's a problem where a new commander takes over. The old commander was liked. He was good. He was darn good. I knew him a long time before. And there's just a flat time it takes for a commander to get used to his men, and even more important, for the men to get used to the commander. When that came up, it's completely different from anything that these people have been taught. It was a completely different situation. So when I come out with it, I tell them to do this, the first thing they think is, this guy's a nut. And to be honest with you, I didn't particularly care about it either. But it's just something that had to be done.
You said there was some discussion of, we reported it as a minor rebellion. Some of your men, actually refused to go down the road. Was that your impression?
Well, I did have a couple of people, 3 or 4, that said they were not going down. More or less said they didn't want. They never told me. They did not tell me they won't go down the road. But from what I gathered, they said they weren't going down the road. Okay, well, that's no problem. If they want to sit there by themselves, that's fine, because the rest of the company did move out. And as far as I could see, everyone was moving. Of course, I moved on up to get up near the point, too, so I could see exactly what was going on. But as I look back, the people were following me up until the time we got the word to turn back. I will say this, had to walk all the way down the road. Had we walked down the road and not been ambushed, it would have been a very good tactic. Had we walked down the road and got ambushed, it wouldn't have been so good. We'll never know.
A new and quieter mission is given to Charlie Company, Palace Guard, protecting division headquarters. Second Squad awakes leisurely at 9 o'clock one morning.
Morning, Gene.
Morning.
How's your back?
Huh?
How's your back?
Oh, pretty good.
Sergeant Dunnick, who is expecting to get a job as supply sergeant back at the base camp, is still in the field. He believes it's punishment for leading the rebellion on the road.
Hey, mosquitoes did me a job, man. Wow. Ate me up.
Mosquitoes?
Yeah. They didn't get you? Did me a job and a half, man.
Insects bother Second Squad more than the enemy on Palace Guard, for there are only a few Viet Cong in the area and no North Vietnamese. These are long, lazy days. The work is less rigorous, the patrol shorter, and the men have more time to relax, to catch up on sleep, play cards, listen to the radio, and especially time to think, privately, about themselves and the world they're in. Most, like John Schultz, see their roles as soldiers as part of a job that has to be done. They support the war, however demanding it is on them. But there are others in Charlie Company who question the killing. A popular song, Reflections of My Life, is playing on Armed Forces Radio. It reflects the mood of some of the men.
The world is a bad place, a bad place, a terrible place to live. Oh, but I don't want to die.
Spec 4 Richard Howe is a combat medic who has shown his courage in 5 months in the field. He would rather be home in Bloomington, Indiana, studying art, getting married, and settling down. Doc Howe is a medic rather than a rifleman because he doesn't want to kill anyone.
I think my only gripe right now is that, see, you were supposedly withdrawing, right? And, well, I figured since we're going home in the long run, why don't we just sort of take it easy, you know? Don't go out looking for trouble, just sort of, you know, maybe sit down. If they come to us, we'll fight, maybe, you know. But going out looking for trouble, I mean, and wasting more lives for just time's sake, to me, is just absurd. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be. I like to say that I won't, you know, fire, shoot anybody. But then you always got the little thing back in your mind, well, what if all of a sudden one day there's a gook and he's got this AK pointed at you? I mean, wow. If I ever do have to kill somebody, I think I'd go insane afterwards. Because of conscience thing. Wow, I killed somebody. Oh, wow. I just hope it never happens.
After 9 months with Charlie Company, Spec 4 Glenn Hindley has become an anti-war advocate, taking an extreme position for a soldier. Hindley is resisting.
Well, right now I'm in a mortar platoon. I'm sort of a bystander. I sit back and watch most of the stuff because we don't really get involved. We just sit back and we never use a gun or anything, so that makes it nice. And right now I'm in a gun squad. I'm a gun squad leader. And I think I'll make it a rule that we don't have to fire the gun. I haven't fired my gun since I've been here. I like it that way.
How can you get away with that?
Just don't fire it. The Army is really paranoid about all the people coming over here now that are a lot different than they used to be, like World War II type people or the old Vietnam people. It's the Woodstock generation coming to Vietnam. I plan to go across country when I get back because I'll see the people I know over here, plus I'll be able to talk to a lot of other people, maybe convince them that killing for peace just doesn't make sense.
Killer, I see you got a peace symbol there. Let's see it.
What's that? I just bought it one day and put it on. I figured all them people back in the world demonstrating, wearing beads and everything else, I figured I could do it too. Since I'm the one over here fighting and they ain't doing nothing. At least I can say I got mine, you know. When I get back there, if I catch one of them walking down the street carrying a NVA flag or something, I'm going to bust him right in the chopper. There it is. Dig it. Can't make it any plainer than that. And I'm with Gene. If I go back and I see one of them walking down the streets waving the NVA flag, I'm going to get out and I'm going to deck that son of a bitch. And they can lock me if they please. That's just the way I feel.
Captain Rice visits 2nd Platoon on Palace Guard to give temporary command to Sergeant Dunnick, even though he considers him to be a troublemaker.
You've been getting pretty good combo. I haven't had too many problems with you, so I don't sweat on yours. You know, I want the squad separated at least a click.
Higher authorities have ordered Captain Rice to keep his squad separated by at least 1/2 mile, looking out and listening for enemy rocket teams. On the map, the distance is measured in kilometers, or clicks.
The main thing right now is area coverage, complete area, so you have to get about a click apart.
Suppose about 200-300 meters from right now.
After Rice leaves, the troops decide, casually, to disobey. 1 kilometer apart is too far to march, they argue, in the thick tropical forest. And if they make contact, 20 men together are stronger than 2 separate squads of 10 men each. Dudley encourages the squad leaders.
I just call him back and tell him she can't move that far.
Oh, call him back.
Tell him it's too bad.
That don't take
Trains.
He's planning not going.
First squad decides to stick with second squad for 2 nights. When asked on the radio for their position, they call in incorrect coordinates. Captain Rice is unaware of this new, almost routine disobedience. He believes the men are becoming more responsive to his orders since he replaced Captain Jackson as the company commander.
He had his way of doing things, and his personality differs a lot from mine. And it was just a question of me getting the people to react to me the way I am. I'm not rather soft-spoken. I've been known to holler every now and then. And I think I think they accept me. As far as, might not like me, but they accept me.
Bob Teschker is coming around to the new captain.
Learning his little ways, his odd ways, or not odd ways, but his ways of doing things. And once we kind of get accustomed to it, it's not hard to take at all. Just first for myself, yeah. Things that we do, we don't like to do, but we have to do them anyways. So, myself, I think he's come out to be a pretty nice guy.
Even though you don't, do you always obey his orders?
Well, sometimes you can. You know, little things you may not always agree with or may not do. With the bigger things, you usually go along and you do.
Gordy Lee is less receptive.
Captain Jackson, if he had to push us, we knew we had to do it. I mean, there was a definite, solid reason. And if he ever got the chance, which he usually did, he told us the definite reason. He understood us and he cared for us. Whereas I think with Captain Rice, he'll push us. And if he has a reason, which I have yet to find out, he won't tell us. It's mission before men. Mission before men. We got to do this. You know, sorry guys, this is the way it's got to be. The guys could be dead tired, but it's mission before men.
It's like Gordy said, Captain Jackson looked out for his men, you know. He had a lot of respect for his men. And if one of us got hurt, it really hurt him, you know. And I don't think that Captain Rice feels that way. He worries more about his rank than he does anything else. It's the way I feel about it anyway. And it's just a psychological effect, more or less, because when somebody's real sarcastic and tells you, you will do this, most people's attitudes say, well, I'll see about what I'll do about it, or what I'll do.
As a company commander, is it necessary to be liked by your men?
No. Not really necessary to be liked. You got to be respected more than you got to be liked. Naturally, any man wants his people to at least think kindly of him. But you can't. You got to draw the line someplace. You got to be in charge. And being in charge, there are some people who just don't like to have people in charge of them. And no matter who you are, they're not going to like it. So you just got to do your job that you're in the Army to do, namely be a commander. And anything else that you get, being liked. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, that's the way it goes.
Second squad goes its own way, modifying the captain's orders to suit the changing conditions of each day and its own sense of independence. Gordy Lee is setting up a Claymore mine.
Hey, it'll do a job. Hang it. Okay, Charlie. You do me a favor. You walk down this trail for me. And I'll send it to you. I'm so sorry to your wife. Oh, so long, sweet Charlie.
The men take a mid-afternoon siesta, their radios playing softly, their thoughts to themselves.
When the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Yeah, there will be an answer, let it be.
May 1st, 1970. D-Day for the massive movement of troops across the Vietnam border into Cambodia, striking at the suspected headquarters of the North Vietnamese command group, COSVIN. The first American unit to combat assault into Cambodia is Charlie Company. The men are uptight, as they say, apprehensive and alert. Captain Rice is in tight control, facing his most serious test in combat as a company commander.
Passes 2 down or negative. Move down here where to get that next yellow smoke is and set up 2 to 6. Okay, we took ground to air, about 200 mics of Sierra Echo. Okay, you see where all the people are down here? Well, down here towards me. Come to the left. Come to the Sierra Echo.
But the contact is scattered and insignificant, and in 2 weeks of patrolling the Fishhook region of Cambodia, no casualties are suffered by Charlie Company. The elaborate military trap having failed, the mission changes to a search for enemy supplies. The company pulls out for a while, then returns to Cambodia after a few weeks in Vietnam to a rugged hill with steep ridge lines to search for enemy weapons and supplies. It is the most difficult patrolling the men have experienced. Physically exhausted, the men are also emotionally frustrated. The company has taken its first serious attack in 4 months. A Vietnamese scout is dead, the new lieutenant and one of the men from 2nd Platoon are wounded, and there are no enemy bodies to show for it. The terrain itself tortures the men.
Well, there's too many hills. Last time I was in Cambodia, it was all flatland, rolling hills. But now we're up here in the darn mountains. And it's just like mountain climbing, only with about a 90-pound pack and a weapon. And it's hard to sleep at night because you're on a slant all the time. And just a hassle.
An elaborate North Vietnamese base camp is discovered, with enough bunkers for a battalion. And for a while, Captain Rice is hopeful the company has found an important cache. But not Dudley.
There might be a cache in here. I doubt it. man seems to think it.
They been here?
Yeah, they've been here. Got fresh built bunkers on the other side over there.
They haven't been gone too long. Maybe 2 days. What you got? Hate's been wearing them. What's that? Looks like a bit of shrapnel down front.
Charlie Company tries to take some vengeance on the enemy, but even that is frustrating. The bamboo is wet.
There it is, folks. The fire of the century.
Some of the veterans are missing as Charlie Company continues the search. PFC George Rivera, who was so short and so worried, couldn't wait to get back to New York, so he extended his tour in Vietnam in return for an immediate 30-day leave to go home. Spec 4 Glenn Hindley, who refused to fire his weapon, was sent to the rear to wait out his final days in country while his entire mortar platoon was abolished. Doc Howe is still in the field, asking for a rear job after 6 months in the bush. John Schultz got one and got out. Bob Teschker was given a radio to carry and switched to another squad. Carlton Dudley is planning to extend his tour in Vietnam for 40 days, so he can get out of the Army sooner than scheduled. After 2 more weeks in Cambodia, the orders come to prepare to withdraw back to Vietnam. Mission accomplished. Charlie Company has skidded up and down the side of a hill, searched it, found nothing of value, and almost exhausted itself. Everyone is still alive.
Well, we should be getting out of here today. Got to get about 2 trees out of here so it'll give the aircraft a good approach and exit.
How are you going to get them out?
1 bird at a time, probably. That's the only way.
What are you going to do with the trees?
Just blow them.
The landing zone is ready.
The only place I know around.
No, man. Back in the world, you know. My own buddy, body.
I know you're hungry if you call that. That's not bad. I know you're hungry. What? Ham and eggs.
For 2.5 months, Charlie Company has worked for, watched, and tested its new commander. Now, even those who first fought his orders and criticized him most are giving Captain Rice their grudging respect. Gordy Lee.
We're getting along a lot better than we are. We're still not gelling properly, but we're getting along a lot better than we were before. He's starting to give us more breaks, which help us because then we're more ready in case we do hit something, and we're stopping earlier now and running patrols, this kind of thing. We're starting to get back to the old Charlie Company now. I think with a little bit more time, it will be right up tight. Things are definitely improving.
I think everything's squared away now. He's getting a little better anyway.
Do you think humping up and down these hills is what straightened it out?
That would definitely straighten you out.
Hang loose on the smoke a minute. Stop smoke.
Captain Rice does not tell the men, but privately, he confides that he is becoming attached to them, worrying about their well-being, getting a sense that Charlie Company is his now. But even so, Captain Rice has taken the first step toward leaving Charlie Company, passing the tests that may get him a transfer to train for a new job as a helicopter pilot. Sergeant Dunnick takes his squad, the men he is committed to keep alive, across the border from one war zone to another, returning with Charlie Company to the more familiar forests of Vietnam, counting the days until getting out of the violent, unforgiving jungle the men don't want to believe is part of the real world. One of the veterans, Spec 4 Bob Jackson of North Plainfield, New Jersey, wrote a poem about the world of Charlie Company.
There's too many little things that make this war the kind of war it is. So when I wrote the poem, I tried to put down the way I felt by some of those little things. I couldn't possibly get them all in, but I tried to put down what I felt and in a way maybe convey that feeling to the people back in the world. The heat and the stench of the air, a sick feeling in your stomach day after day, the smell of body odor and the choking dust in your throat, eyes that burn from sweat and are tired and painful from squinting, the ache in your back and neck while you stand waiting to move, and a pause for a minute and a quick cigarette. That deserted second from reality when your whole body reeks with tension at an unknown sound or a shadow in the bamboo. Each day that goes by and the disappointment you feel every time you look at a calendar in the hypocritical way that time seems to disappear. When mail comes and a letter for you, which you embrace mentally and find it hard not to do physically. The anticipation while you read, trying not to read it too fast, for fear you'll miss something or it will all be over too soon. A buddy who means the world to you, but who you sometimes despise and is a pain in the ass to have around. Even here, there's natural beauty, a small flowered patch of ground, a bird's call, and the grace of a butterfly. But frustration and disappointment become a laughable thing. But always, there's the conflicting emotions to smile or say the hell with it and cry. There it is.
We began this cassette with a question. What was it like to be a soldier in Vietnam? We've heard it argued, correctly I think, that no one can really know what it was like unless they were there. But to the extent that pictures and sound can provide an approximation, I cannot think of any film that did so better than what you have just seen. This is Walter Cronkite, and this has been another in a continuing series of video cassettes on the Vietnam War.